is Kuf Dalid, Ahmed Aleph, 104. So we asked the question, Shem Shimon, it's not a mem sofit, it's a regular mem. So Pasuach was, so then we brought a drasha from Niskehem of Mayim, we switched a mem pasuach to a mem sosum. So the Gemara says pasuach was sosum aloi kama. Going from a regular mem to a mem sofit is malin bakoidesh. The Amarach is the mem the samoch shebaluchos b'nei sayu omdi. So when there was a mem in the a mem sofit or a samech in the luchos, because the luchos were engraved through and through. So a mem is like a square. Well, if it's engraved through and through, then how did that piece hang there? It's suspended. It was a zabineh. It should have fallen out. So that's why the mem and the samech and the luchos were miraculous. And therefore, the mem sofit and the samech and mem sofit is on a higher level than a regular mem. But if you went from a mem sofit to regular mem, you made it more inferior. Why is it more inferior? The Amr of Yirmiyah v'Temer of Chia Barava Menatspech, the letters which have sofit, mem sofit, nun sofit, tzadik sofit, pei sofit, chaf sofit, the Nevi'im were the ones, later Nevi'im gave us a new concept that you have little mem or little nun. It means the original letters were only the sofit letters. And the fact that you could write them with a regular mem and regular nun and a regular samech, that only later Nevi'im brought in. So by going from a mem sofit to a regular mem, you're going down. Frag the Gemara v'Tizra, how is that so? How could you tell me that later Nevi'im made a change in the letters? Vaksiv Ela mitzvos she'ena navi r'shar l'chadesh davar me'ato. After Moshe Rabbeinu received the Torah, a navi can't come and give more chidushim. How can you tell me that the letters in the Torah would change later on by later Nevi'im? Can't be. Ela ma'avahavi. The letters existed, but they didn't know this principle that only the mem sofit and the nun sofits went at the end of the letter, at the end of a word, as opposed to the middle of the word. Came also tzoifim takniu, that the smaller letters, the mem pasuach, the nun pasuach, were written in the middle of letter of words, and the sofit letters were written at the end of it. That was the tikkun. But the Gemara says that still, that it seems to be a chidush. So it wasn't a chidush; it was there. They were just forgotten, and the later Nevi'im came and brought it back. By the way, we have exactly the same sugya in Masechta Megillah, and Rashi warns us here about the same sugya. Don't ask a kasha; it's really the same thing. Gufa, Amr of Chizda. Mem the Samech Shebeluchos b'nei sayu omdim. These letters in the luchos, they were miraculous. Amr of Chizda Kosev Shebeluchos nikra mibifnim v'nikra mibachutz. You could, when you read it back, when they read it backwards, it was read like Kigon, Nevuv is Buban, Rahav is Bahar. Saru Varos. It was read backwards. Rashi says, "Osias afuchos bateva fucha, losh min elashaya chakak nokev is kol aluchos," because it went all the way through the luchos. Vicha chayimem v'samach b'neis explains to us why it was. And therefore, if you look at the words on the other side, they were backwards. Also, dar diki ayid lebei midrasha. The young Talmidim in yeshiva came to the Lebei Midrasha. The Amru Mili Dafil B'mei Yoshu B'nin Lo Yitmar Kovasayu. They said such profound things about letters, the Hebrew alphabet, that things like this hadn't been said even in the times of Yoshua ben Nun. What do they say? Aleph Beis, meaning Alaf Bina. Alaf means to study. Study Torah, Bina's Torah. Gimel Dalit, Gmol Dalit. Do Gmilas Chasodim for poor people. And then my time of Pshuta carried the Gimel Agabi Dalas. Why is the small leg pointing towards the back of the Dalit? A philanthropist runs after poor people to try to help them. Well, my time of Pshuta carried the Dalit Gabi Gimel. Why is the back of the Dalit facing the Gimel? The Ani also presents himself to the philanthropist to give to receive stock. It takes two to tango. My time but yet the opening of the Dalas is facing away from the Gimel. Why is that? The Litin Lebitzina teaches us how to give tzedakah, that you should do it modestly. Right? The Rambam has we went through this in Yoredeya. How do you give tzedakah properly? It's the most. If it should be anonymous, the person shouldn't even know who he's getting tzedakah from. Hey Vav, Zeh Shmo Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? Yud Kei Vav Kei is the names of Hashem. Zayin Chet Tet Yud Chaf Lamed V'imatas Oseh Kain. That means if you accept HaKadosh Baruch Hu Zanotcha, that's he feeds you, that's the Zayin. The Chainotcha, he gives you Chain. Umeitiv L'cha, he does good to you. The Nosin L'cha Yerusha gives you a Yerusha. The Kosh L'cha Kesher La'olam Haba, he gives you a crown for Olam Haba, that's the Kaf Lamed. And then Mem Psucha, Mem Stuma, the small mem and the final mem. Sometimes there's a mimer pasuach, sometimes there's a mimer chazal or a mimer of Torah that everyone understands it. Mimer sosum, sometimes it's ununderstandable. Nun kfufa, nun pshuta. You have a nun that's sort of a small nun and one that's got a long leg. Neman kofuv, neman pashut. Someone who is modest. He's going to be. Everyone will know about his modesty and about his nemanus in the future. Samachayin, smochanim. You should provide support for poor people. Lishnachrina simonim asebator kteosa. Make marks. Mnemonics, in order for you to remember various divrei Torah. Pei kfufa, pei pshuta. There's a small pei and a big pei. Pei pasuach, pei sasu. Sometimes you have to open your mouth. Sometimes you have to keep your mouth closed. Tzadi kfufa, tzadi pshuta. There's a small tzadi. There's the big tzadi. Tzadi kafuf, tzadi poshut. Same thing. Sometimes the tzaddik will be humble. Sometimes he'll be upright. Frankly, more of a high. Isn't that the same neman kof of neman pashut? Masbirim, no. That the tzaddik goes beyond the neman. Mikanshnet nator b'monud rosh means it's you have to be makabel the Torah with fear, with humbleness. Then the kuf represents Kadosh, holiness, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And then Reish refers to a Rasha. Now, my time of Mahadir Ape de Kof Mereish, right, the main part of the Kuf faces away from the Reish. Or really, the Reish sort of turns his head. They said it in a clean way, in a nice way, that really the Rasha turns his head away from the Kuf. Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu. My time Madra Pedi Kuf Bereish. Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu. Einan Yachol Yistakel BeRasha. Right? He doesn't want to face the Rasha. My time Madra Tani the Kuf Gabi Reish. Why is the crown on top of the Kuf faces the Reish to remind the Rosh, Amar Kodesh Baruch Hu, all the Rosh has to do is do tshuva, and I will tie a crown on his letter, the same that I have on my letter, or on him. My time, Akari the Kuf Tluya. Now the Kuf has a hanging stick below it. Why? The Ihadr Beila Eyo. So there's an opening that the Rasha can go right in and go and be accepted by Kodesh Baruch Hu. I V'leil Bahach. So why doesn't he go in the opening on the bottom? The silent Reish Lakish, Davar Reish Lakish might say Imla Leitzinu Yalich V'Lanavim Yitin Chain. So Bala Tamei, if a person wants to go on the wrong derech poischelo, Bala Tam is signing. We make so that's why for him to come back and be about Tshuva, it's a bigger opening because Hashem is B'Sayeh about Tshuva. Then the final two letters, Shin, represent Sheker. Tov represents Emes. My time is Sheker Mekarbon Milei. Now, Shin, Kuf, Reish, they're all letters that are next to each other. And Emes is Aleph. They're the farthest letters away from each other. Aleph, Taf, and Mem is in the middle. Right? Emes Merach Gemile. So Shikra, Shchiach. There's Sheker everywhere you look. Kushta, real truth, Rosh. So it's far away. You got to look far and wide for Emes. The what is it called today? The news outlets, they call it the false media or the
fake news.
Fake news.
Right. Fake news. Everything, to find the MS is sheker is shchiach everywhere. My time is shikra chodekari koi. Sheker stands on one little topple, right? Shin kuf reish, right? Sheker is teetering on that stick of the kuf. MS is malabin labune. MS, if you look at how the letter is written, Aleph has a strong base. Mem has
solid
a strong
ground.
Base. Vus?
Solid ground.
Right. Kushta koi. Kushta has a kiyum. Shikra lo koi. Shikra is forgotten. The next day, Sheker is forgotten. Only truth is remembered. Okay. Now, since they're playing with letters, we're gonna use a different system called the Atbash system, right? Aleph Taf, the first letter, last letter, Beis Shin, right? So OTT8, Esavilo, that means referring to the Russia. He hates me. Should I? Kodesh Baruch Hu's talking. Should I go after him? Beis Shin, Vilo Chasha. He didn't have any desire for me. Shmi Yachol Alav. Should I establish my name on him? Says Kodesh Baruch Hu. Gimel Reish. Gufo Time. He was metame his guf. Arachim Alav. Should I have Rachmanis on it? Dalid K. Dalid Kuf. Dal Soisi Noel. He locked my doors. Karnav Lagadeh. Shouldn't I cut off his horns? Ad Kan Midas Rishon. This is up until now. Hashem dealing with Rishon. Aval Midas Sadiqim is not like that. Adbash Imata Bosh. Right? If you the tzaddik are modest, gardak. Imata Oseken Gur Bedok. You're going to live in Shamayim. Right? Duk is Shamayim. So you'll be with me in Shamayim. Hey tzaddik vav pei. There'll be a barrier between you and anger. Zayin ayin, ches samech, tes nun, The einatam is dazeh min asot. That's the abbreviation that you're not going to have to be afraid from the sun. Yud mem kaf lamed. This is Omar Sar Shel Gehem L'Kodesh Baruch Hu. The Sultan says to Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam L'Yam Kol. We need to throw everybody into the Gehenna. Omar Kodesh Baruch Hu. Now, the letters are going to be organized differently. Aleph Chet Sin. Right, it's every seventh letter. Beis Tes Ayin. Gimel Yud Pei. The same thing. There's 7 letters in between each one. And the abbreviation means Ani Chas Aleim Ibnei Sheboto. I have Rachmanis on my people because they try to keep the Satan away. Or Begiv. Sheboto Begiv, Rashi says, refers to adultery. And my people stay away from adultery, so I'm going to keep them out of Gehenna. Then we continue Daled Chaf Tzadik with again the 7 letters. Dakim Heim. They are righteous. Kenim Heim, they are correct. Tzadikim Heim. Heilam and Kuf Ein Lecha Chelik Behen. And he says to the Sultan, you don't have any right to take them. Umem Reish Zayin Nun. Shin Taf. Again, with the same distance of letters. Armageddon Mafan Ribono Shel Olam. Mori, he said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, my master, Zaneni, feed me. It means Gehenna needs souls there. Mizaro Shel Sheis. Sheis, right? All of humankind comes from Sheis, because after Adam HaRishon had another child, Sheis, who then populated the world, meaning all the Goyim and Yisrael. Omer lo, Aleph Lamed Beis Mam Albaum, Gandis Gimel Nun Dalet Sin. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to Gan Eden. Hey, Ayin Vav Pei, Omer Gehenim L'Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, Ayef Anochi. You're making me tired. Zayin Tzadik Ches Kuf, Halalu Zar Shel Yitzchak. The children of Yitzchak, which are the Jewish people, Tet Reish Yud Shin Chav Tas, Tar Yesh Likito Kito Chodachim Shani Noten Lecha. Kodesh Baruch Hu says, I've got plenty of Ovdei Avodah Zarah, the Goyim, that I'm gonna present to you. You'll be able to fill Gehenna. Okay. Mishnah. Hakosev Shtei Osios Belam Echad. Person writes 2 letters in one period of forgetfulness. Chai. So you're chayiv achatas for the shogi because you didn't know. Because of bidyo, if you used ink, besam or besikra, which are red inks, bekumus v'kankantum, uv'chol davar shu roshim, anything that makes a permanent mark. Now, al shnei gosli zovios, if you write the 2 letters on 2 corners of you have a wall here, 2 walls come to a corner, and you write the letters, 2 letters on the two sides of the wall, so they can be read together. Or al shnei levochi pinkas, or on a tablet, they're next to each other, ve'nenin zemzem, they can be read together, chayiv. But we'll see if you write a letter here and write a letter on the opposite side of the room, you would not be chayiv because you can't read them easily together. Hakosev al besoro, if you write on your skin, you're also chayiv, as long as you do it with ink. Hamisarit al besoro, let's say you use lime or you sort of dig into it, or you scratch it, the chachamim poitrim, because the chachamim will say it's not the derech. Now, if you use an ink that is not going to last. For example, kosav b'mashkin with apple juice, b'mei peiros, ba'avak drachim with dust, ba'avak asoifrim, dust that's left over from the soifrim of chodor shem iskayim pot. La'achar yado, let's say you put a pen in your hand, but you put it upside down, and then you turn your hand this way and you write this way. That's how the Rishonim understand la'achar yado. Or you put a pen baraglo, or bepiv, uvamar feko, in your armpit, or elbow. Or, we're going to see it's potter. Or kosef osachat samach l'ktav. Let's say there's already an existing letter, and you write one letter next to it. Or kosef agabiksav, you write some ink on top of a letter that's already written. Or niskavin lichtov ches because of stays zayin in. You wanted to write ches, you ended up writing two zayins. Or you write one letter ba'aretz v'achos because one is on the ground and one's on the ceiling. Or kozval shnei koslei abayis opposite the walls. Al shnei dapi pinkas, and you write them on two tablets, but they're not next to each other. Ve'nenin zem zeh potter. In all these cases, you're not chayav. Kosav ois achas noitriko. So, for example, up until now, we've been learning that. So, contrary to the English language, there is no example in Hebrew of a word written with one letter. Every word in Hebrew has a minimum of two letters. I was going to say a drasha. There's a reason for that, because it's to teach us, at least in human interaction, a person is not an island. You always need a chaver, a spouse, or your friend. So the language follows the same concept. So there was a havamina though. Let's say you have it stuck a box, and on the box you write tzadi, and it's an abbreviation. You know it means stuck. Or you're a Kohen, and you have a box in your house, and you want to write the word taf on the box, and you know it means you put all your truma in that box. Or you're not a Kohen, and you're collecting meiser, and you put a box with a letter mem, maybe you put an apostrophe, or even just one letter as an abbreviation for a larger word. So here's already Machlokas Tanoim. Rabbi Yeshua ben Beseir Mechayev. The Chachamim Poitrin. The Rambam Paskins, you're not chayiv if you write one letter. Says the Gemara, Dio Dioita. That's the regular dye. I think it's made from like charcoal. Sam is sama. Rashi says orpiment. And then sikra. Sikrata Shma. It's called sikrata in Aramaic. Kumus is in Aramaic kuma. This is like a sap. Kumus is a sap that comes out of the tree. And kankantum, Amar Bar Chana of Shmuel, it's like that the shoemakers use it for shoe polish. It's sulfur and copper. Correct, Peter?
It's a ferrous sulfate.
Yeah, well, these are metal. They're made out of metal.
Right.
But I think there's some copper in ushbechi. Rashi says armand in Old French.
I've never seen that word.
Rashi says adramont. It's copper sulfate.
Who says that? Steinsaltz?
Yeah. Gofrit hanachoshes, copper sulfate. I didn't know that that's what shoe polish is made out of. Maybe it is. Don't know. Okay, weiter. Mishnah said of chodavar shu roshem. Yeah, copper sulfate is also in kankantum is copper sulfate. So that was certainly used used by dyers. I mean, used by ink makers, right? And that makes sense because copper is very soft. So right, so you could see that they would, by heating it or by making an alloy with sulfate, it would be an easier metal to use. Period. There's a chodavar shehu roshem. The Mishnah added.
I just put ushkafi in the Google Translate. It comes back as witchcraft.
Ushpechi.
Yeah, ushkafi.
But it's ushkafi. It's ushkafi.
Yeah, that's how I spelled it the way the Gemara does.
Right, hard to do ushkafi. So that's it's black. It's the black used by shoemakers. It's like shoe polish. Maybe there was witchcraft involved in that as well. You never know. So the Mishnah added v'chodavar shehu roshem, anything that makes a mark. Now, what's the Mishnah lasui mar? What is that coming to include? Lasui had tani Rav Chanina k'savu b'mei tree of afza. This is like gallnuts. We're talking about if you write a sefer Torah with gallnuts kosher. So meaning a sefer Torah is only kosher if you write with something that's got a roshem. So there's a connection between using an item that's kosher for sefer Torah and violating Shabbos. That means if you use something to write a sefer Torah that doesn't last, it's not going to be kosher for sefer Torah, and you're not going to be over it on Shabbos because doesn't have roshem. Tani Rav Chia k'savu ba'avar. Avar is lead or b'shachor with black. That's this copper sulfate, or from charcoal. It's all kosher because they make a roshem kavua, and therefore, if you use any of these things on Shabbos, you'd be chayiv for writing. Then it says Amasaris al Bisaro, if you make a mark on your skin, Tanya Armla Rabbi Lezer, and there's machlokas Rabbi Yezer and the Chachamim. Rabbi Yezer was machayiv, the Chachamim said you were potter. V'alo ben Stada, so there's a person called Ben Stada, Hotzi Kshafim Mitzrayim, he brought out some Egyptian spells from Egypt, he wrote it on his skin. So who's this Ben Stada? So Ben Stada was a mysterious figure that appears a number of places in Shas. Some thought it referred to Yeshu Anotzri, and that's why the censors used to remove any reference to Ben Stada. Later, researchers have identified Ben Stada at the time of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva lived 135 CE, which is, Yeshu was executed 30 CE. So it can't be that Ben Stada is the same person as Yeshua Notzri, but he was a Meshigana, he was involved in Kishuv, and they say don't bring a raya from Ben Stada. You could see Tosfos. Again, I'm sure this Tosfos there were many volumes where this Tosfos was censored. Tosfos says here, Omer Rabbeinu Tam, the Einze Yeshua Notzri. Da Ben Stada Minam, Hach, that be made Papas Ben Yehuda. That be made Rabbi Kiva. The Muchel Perch Basra de Brachas. The Yeshua be made Yoshua Ben Prachia. Rabbeinu Tam says that Yeshu lived in the time of Yoshua ben Prachia. That's a famous story in Sota where he told him, wait a minute, because he was davening Shema, and he said, wait, and Yeshu thought he was being thrown out of the yeshiva, so he left. And the Gemara says he went off the derech at that time. Right? Rabbi Yeshua Yeshua Rabbi Akiva. Right? Rabbi Yeshua ben Prachya, he says it could be that Yeshua Notzri existed at the time of Yeshua ben Prachya. So I'm sure this Tosfos also was not present in many different volumes. So for the Gemara, why do you call him Ben Stada? Ben Pandirahu. Now Ben Pandira is who was thought who Yeshua Notzri was from. So here the Gemara Havamina seems to be that it's talking about Yeshua Notzri. Because it says V'nikral Shem Bal Imo Avu B'Shoyim Mamzer. Do you hear what Rashi is saying here? That Yeshua was a mamzer, and it is the name of the husband of his mother, but it's not really his father because we don't know who his father was because he was a mamzer. Obviously, this also was censored, but here it's present. Amrav Chizda, Bal Stada Boil Pandira. It means the husband, as if it was his father, was called Stada. But the guy who lived with his mother, right? The mother was an Ish, and someone was boiled the mother, and the true biological father of Yeshu is Pandira. Straight to Gemara, what do you mean? Baal Papas ben Yehudahu. The original husband was Papas ben Yehuda. So the Gemara says, Imo Stada. So the mother was called Stada, and therefore he was called Ben Stada. Straight to Gemara, Imo Miriam Magdala, Miriam Magdalene, Sa'ar Nas Yahavi, who sold or who braided women's hair. Elikadami Bubadisa Stas Domi Baila. That she went behind her husband's back, and that's why it's called Stas Domi Baila, but Ben Stada. Anyways, many Gemaras don't have this version because it was censored. Tosfos has a whole thing on Miriam Magdala. And again, they discuss, when it could be. Okay. We said in the Mishnah that if there was an existing letter and a person came around and wrote a letter next to it, so the Mishnah said he was potter. Mantana, who is the author of our Mishnah? Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says we're going to learn about weaving. And he says if you have one bias of weaving and you need to have at least two batim, but if there's an existing one bite, you add another bite, you're chayiv. So Rabbi Eliezer has the same concept by writing. You have one letter, you add another letter to it. Now you have two letters. You're going to be chayiv according to Rabbi Eliezer. So our Mishnah is not Rabbi Eliezer. Then it says kosav al gabi ksav. If you write on top of another letter, the Mishnah also said you're potter. So then Mantana, who's the author of our Mishnah? Rav Chisda, to like Rabbi Yehuda, can't be Rabbi Yehuda. Tanya. So you have a soifer who's writing a Sefer Torah. Reisha Yitzrach Lichtov is a shame. And the soifer is supposed to write Yud Kei Vav Kei. And you have to have Kavana. He thought, he made a mistake, and he thought that he was supposed to write the word Yehuda there. And his kavana was to write Yehuda. And he wrote Yehuda, but he made a mistake. He left out the Dalid, and now he has Yud Kei Vav Kei. Maver lav kulmas makacha de Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, what should the sofer do? Take the pen and write again over the Yud K Vav K, but now have Kavana L'Shem Hashem. So what are we seeing from here? You see that Rabbi Yehuda holds that writing over another letter has halachic significance. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda would hold if you write on top of two letters on Shabbos, you'd be chayiv. So our Mishnah is not Rabbi Yehuda. The Chachamim argue in both places. The Chachamim say as well, over there by Ksiva Sefer Torah, if you wrote the writing on top of the Yud K Vav K over there, will not correct the problem because writing on top of a letter is not considered halachic writing. So therefore, over here as well, on Shabbos, if you write on top of another letter, you would not be chayiv. Tana, Kosov ois achas v'hishlima la sefer. Let's say you have a Sefer Torah, and it's missing one letter, and you write that letter on Shabbos. Or orag chodecha b'shlima la beged. You have a garment, and it's missing one row of weaving, and you weave one row. Normally, to be chayav for weaving, you got to weave two, but since this is significant because you're finishing a sefer, but it's when it says here shlima la sefer, we mean one of the 24 books of Tanakh. We're not talking about a Charles Dickens novel. We're talking about one of the Sfarim of Tanakh. Then it has halachic significance. Rashi says achas me'esrim va'arba sfarim. We have 24 books of Tanakh. Man Tana. Who is the author of this Mishnah? Amar Rav Huna, Rav Yezri. Amar achas ala ari chayiv. Rav Yezri says if you add to an existing bias of a weave, you're chayiv. So it's the same thing over there. Rav Ashi Amar filu tem rabbanon. Even rabbanon who say if you add an extra weave over there, you're not chayiv. Here they would agree because lahashlim shiny, to finish a sefer is important. And you're chayiv, but you're chayiv for makib patish, not for ksiva, says the Rambam. Makib patish, not ksiva. On Ravami Kosov ois achas bitveria achas bitzipoiri. Now Tver and Tzipoiri were two towns that were not far away from each other. So let's say on Shabbos he writes one letter in Tveria. We said, remember, if you were in a house and you wrote one letter on one wall, one letter on the other wall, you're not chayiv, unless you write in the corner where you could easily read them together. But here the Gemara is saying, if I wrote on a piece of paper one letter in Tveri, one letter in Tzipor, chayiv. It's ksiva yela shemachus kreifa. I wrote it. The only thing they lack is bringing them together. If I write on two opposite sides of the wall, or on two tablets that are not next to each other, and carry them right next to each other, potter. Also, by the walls or by writing on luchos, you have to sort of separate the two. They used to write on stone tablets. You have to separate. There's another ma'isa besides kriva that you need to do. Here, all you need is just bring them together. You don't have to do anything else, and that's why you're chayiv for that. Tana higia ois achas chayiv. If you correct one letter, you're chayiv. To Gemara, what are you talking about? If you write a whole letter, you're potter, because you got to write two letters to be chayiv. So just correcting a letter, why would you be chayiv? You haven't even written a whole letter; you just corrected one letter. So if you see how a ches and a zayin is written in the Torah. A ches is like a combination of two zayins. So if he erases the top part of the ches, you have two zayins now. If you had kavana, with the one eraser to because two Zions belong there. It's a word that needs two Zions. So then in Hanami, that's why you're chayiv.
It can also be a Vav and a Zion, can't it?
Say it again.
It can also be a Vav and a Zion.
No, but you mean if you erase it a certain way, but the Gemara normally understands a ches as two Zions together. So if you erase just the middle part of the top of the ches, you're going to have two Zions. I understand what you're saying. You could erase not in the middle and erase on the closer to this one side, and you'll have a vav and a zayin. And I guess it would work there as well. If you had a word that you saw ches there, but it needed a vav and a zayin, and you made an erasure there, you made a vav and a zayin, you'd be chayav the same way as the two zayins. In a chanami. But the Gemara says here it's talking about two zayins. Rav Amar Kagon Shenadlu Tago Shel Dalis Vasal Reish. Now, a dalit as a tag. If you remove the tag, it looks like a reish. Rashi says, "Lavi ela hagos ois achas." You corrected one letter. V'dora muat chayiv. Hoil v'zeu tikun as-sefer. The arshalad and lishon sefer sheina muga mishum. You're correcting a sefer. V'avalei kiksav os achas v'shlim al sefer. You see, I didn't understand what the Gemara wanted here, because really only correcting, you're changing a dalet to a reish. You didn't add. You got to normally have two letters. So Rashi tells us we're talking about you needed the reish to be mashlim the Sefer Torah of Tanakh, and with that hashlama, you did a little eraser of a tag and you were chayev. Okay, we'll stop here.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow.